Right, today's the day we're going to start putting things together. I had a little bit of a problem with this shaft, this layer shaft. If you can remember, when I took the gear off, it wouldn't come off. I had to use a puller. But look at it now. We went to JP to put this in the lathe and turn, just turn it in the chuck of the lathe, not spin it around like crazy, and put a gauge on the end to see if this was bent. Because I had, like I say, I had a job trying to get this gear off, and JP had his stones out, and he had some very nice fine stones to clear out these grooves in here, because this was really tight. But we looked at it and we thought, no, that seems alright. And we also checked down here to see if this was cracked, if there was any fine cracks, and that was fine. But when we come, like I said, we were playing about with it, and look what happened when we put this on. You get it on a certain place, it's crazy. Ah, look, see, it sticks. So we put it on that way and it went alright. I don't know, I couldn't work that one out. Mystery, one of the Arthur C. Clarke's mysteries. So today we're going to put the bearings on, and hopefully we can assemble this. So one of the differences with this suffix K and L, it had a big input bearing, the primary motion bearing. It's big. It's a lot bigger than the other ones. So I'm going to press these in. I'm going to press this bearing onto here and press the shell into here. I think we've already done that. You've seen me pressing bearings on. It's exactly the same. And then we'll show you how to assemble this forky thing here. And let's get it ready for putting back together. Hopefully we can get this out tonight. That would be good, provided nobody else comes. It's been manic this morning. It's Manic Monday. The bangles. On this front cover, we've got to fit the oil seal before we fit the bearing. So the oil seal, the lips always go to the oil side, not the other way around. It goes this way. Look, you see, like that. So we're going to tap that in. We're going to find a nice socket, push that down, and the bearing, as I was mentioning, is a big bearing. It seems to be quite a tight fit in this housing, whereas the one for the layer shaft is a bit vague. Alright, doesn't really matter because it fits in there. It fits actually in the housing, the big cast housing. This is just nothing, but for some reason this is tight in here. But anyway, that's a little ramble. Let's get all these bits fitted. With the bearings pressed in place, the next thing I'm going to do is put a little smear of Loctite sealer, this one here, around this face, and we're going to bolt it down. So you can see here I've got a smear of silicone on there, the RTV. I've put the layer shaft bearing in there, so it's just in a place to go. I'm going to locate the bearing in the cap, like that. Bolts on. Like that. I'm just going to give them a quick whiz down with the gun, just a little bit. We'll double check them with the torque wrench once it's all back together, because it's a bit wibbly wobbly at the moment. But you might be able to see there's just enough silicone come out there. It's not oozing out, neither is it going to ooze into the box. What are we going to do next? Well, I think what we'll do is put this piece, the fork, on here and get it ready, because I've developed a new technique. We've done this before, but it is kind of daunting to know how these actually go together, and it's really easy if you do it on a flat surface. You will see here that there is one low one and one high one. Well, this goes over the top of that. Now what we're doing as well at the same time, we're looking for any abnormal bits of wear on here. There's some bits that's been ground off from the factory, that's okay. The little shuttle, where does it go? Well, the shuttle goes over the pin, naturally, but what we've got to do is work out where that pin goes. So we turn it like that. We bring that up to there, that up to there. Can you see that? So that's how it is. Move it a little bit further forward. You move it so they're all in line, because you've got a groove here in the bottom of the little shuttle, and turn it like that. So the pin is in the middle. Simple. Now I'm going to show you my new technique. One of the issues we have when we drop this main shaft into the casing is when we've got the forks on, like thus. See how it fits straight on? No worries, no tears. We've got to make sure that that pin is square, 90 degrees to the main shaft, if you see what I mean, so it's pointing out that way. But what I developed is the problem that, let's move this around a bit so you can see. When you're trying to push this piece into the housing, you know, the thin flat housing which has gone missing. Oh, it's this bit here. When you try to push it into that bit, you see that hole at the nearest you? Because it's got detent springs in it, it's very easy to lock on here and push the shaft up. Thus, taking off this fork here will push the synchro out of here. This is not good, because that means you have to disassemble the whole shaft again just to get to this bit, because you can't really get a fork to take this third bearing off. So what I came up with an idea was this. I hope it works. Watch it bloody fail on me miserably. Hose clip. Put a hose clip over the top. Right round the gear here. Alright, round the shuttle, round everything. What we're going to do is try and pull it tight together. Dave Ashcroft's watching this, I bet he never thought of this. Because he can't go anywhere. There. And that now is solid. It can't go anywhere. Now, the only thing is I've got this shaft not sticking out quite enough, so I'm going to back it off and turn it till that's in its happy place. Tighten up the clip. Now at first I thought about putting it around the top, but that was a waste of time because it wouldn't clinch everything, if you see what I mean. If you put it around here it would still just come off, but by doing it like this it's locked it to that second gear and everything's in place now. I bet you could take it off and give it a good old kick about now. So that's good. I like that. No. So we've got the lay shaft done, we've got the primary motion shaft done, we've got this bit done. I think it's about time to put this in its rightful place in the housing. Unfortunately, the old Amiga says it's lunchtime, and I'm going to grab a bite to eat and then we'll put all this up together. Right, so I've got a bit tidied up for you because I thought you're special. Of course you are. Now, what we've got now, I've got this on the stand at the moment because what we're going to do is just assemble this to find out what the shimming is. Now, before we do the shimming, we can put the old shims back in, I think, because they were pretty loose, but I don't know what they're going to be like with new bearings, so this is just a test. So I've measured up the bearings, and the top bearing is 2.07 millimeters, and the bottom bearing is 1.67 millimeters here. So I'll put the old bearing, the old shims back in. Then we've got something to work on. I am not putting the spring in yet. Alright, the reason for that is that we're going to flip this over. This is why I'm a bit concerned about how long my shaft is. So I'm going to drop this on, drop the lay shaft on, put the cover on, then we're going to flip it. That means we can take the cover on and off quite easy without the springs in. We only put the springs and the balls in until the last moment. If you get the drift, you will see. Now, one of the things you've got to do is make sure that these dowels here are a nice sliding fit. I've just got the Dremel out with a little bit of sandpaper because one was stuck in the casing. So I've made sure they're nice and free. See what I mean? The faces are nice and clean. There's no dirt or grease on that because obviously we're going to be trying quite a few times to try and get this shimming right. It's going to be a pain in the backside. It always is, but it's kind of fun in a way. I don't know. It doesn't take much to have fun with me, I suppose. Right, so let's get the shafts ready. We're not going to put any oil on them at the moment because we'll get a bit messy. It's not because we haven't forgotten. We're going to put that one in like that. Yeah, that's right, isn't it? I don't know, I've forgotten how it goes together. And we're going to take this one out of the vise, and hopefully this new method will keep the shaft in place. Oh, come to daddy, look at that. Good story. Yeah, you go down there. And you can go into there. There we go. There we go. Nearly there. That's come through there, that's alright. Oh, where's it going now? Oh, there we are. That's down there. We didn't move the top ring, you know, the synchro didn't come out, but that's good news. So now, there you see, it's all dropped down once you put that out. Move that apart. And we're going to put that in our box of treasure. That's really helped that. Now the inner bearing here we're going to put a bit of oil on. This one here. We'll put some on there as well, just a taster. Alright, there we go. Now, I've got to find a simple synchro ring. Go into there. Not that one. This one goes on the 5th and reverse, but this one, without any notches in, goes up there like that, look, right like that. So it's right tidy. Like that. Lovely. And then the shaft, I nearly got right in front of me. What a muppet. Couldn't see for looking. It's too clean. We'll put a bit of oil on that race. There we go. And there they are, all jiving together. One big happy family. We are family. I've got all my gears and me. That's looking good. We've got this selector in the right place here, this little bobbin. Bobbin, slipper, I don't know what the hell you call them, but that bit. Now you can see there's two lugs on it. These, it's evenly spaced to go in the top. Are you with me? That's where it goes, just there. Not round, so you've got a lug either side of those two bolts. You see those, oops, too much. There we go. We've got two bolts there and sort of line those two lugs up with that. So the next thing, I'm going to zoom out a bit. We're quite happy with that. We'll put a bit of oil on this bearing here. I know it's light oil, but, and the thing is, once we start putting, fill it up with ATF, they'll get oiled anyway. It's pretty good, but we don't. I'm trying to keep a minimal oil on this face here for the gasket. Right, next bit. Ah, here we go. So we've already pre-done this casing here. I just put some bolts in as standoffs, so when I painted the casing, I didn't get paint all over the desk. Well, I did, but so I could get all around it with paint. Right, so the next thing, we've got to align up that casing onto here. Now this here is the top here, Just put a bit of squirty bit of oil in there just in case, give it a head start. There we go. You've got to feel around for your shaft. What's holding it off? Nothing. Ha! That's how it's supposed to go. Did you see that? No, you probably missed it, but we'll have to do it again in a minute anyway. I'm going to knock the dowels through. Just give them a little push. Push it. Now we don't need to take this. Don't need to take this end off anymore. Really. So we're going to put a couple of bolts through here just to hold it in place whilst I turn it upside down, so it doesn't ping that thing, if you see what I mean. So the casing's all together. Now, wait a minute, let's have a look and see. Yeah, we're nice and loose on that shaft, that's good, that means we've got clearance. Little nip. Probably racist to our Japanese viewers now. So that's that there. Now, let's have a look. Yeah, you see? So we need to re-shim this up because that's kind of loose, that's good. That one, at the bottom, is kind of tight. I might have to, what I'm going to have to do now is experiment. They were only just put in temporary, so make a note. We might have to go thinner on the lay shaft one because that feels lovely. Don't worry about it sounding a bit nasty and grindy. Just a bit dry, that's all. Right, so what I'm going to do now is find out that bit that goes in there like that. So where is it? It's here somewhere. No, no, that's one. Ah, it's here. I'm going to clean this piece up, put a bit of silicone around it, and then we're going to screw this on and then flip it upside down. So now we're going to fit this piece. Now you have to be very careful with this because you've just got to do a little bit of a jiggledy pokery with that and it goes on alright. They're only small bolts. Now she's ready for turning upside down, but you probably see here that the dowels are still in here. You see, it's all painted black. It's funny, isn't it? It was all black with oil, now it's all black with paint. We're going to take those dowels out so we've got a nice flat surface to put this on the stand when we flip it upside down. I'll get them out somehow.